Tienen de dots y
Yo quería el resto.
So I had to buy him size 6.
Como en el summer si me dan ganas de ir para allá, lo que voy a nomás voy para el base. Nomás voy para el base y trato de agarrar una japa de LA o cerquita de LA, no de ahí a los bosques se va de LA para Las Vegas por $7. No, ahí le quito a mi amigo, a su hijo, le quito el carro y voy para los casinos mientras que está trabajando toda la noche.
Ya hay otro que ayer ya hay un chofer que agarró ayer, ya vieron lo que trae. Ya hubo otro muchacho que es ya de chofer, que sabe. Eso los drivers ready, uno de los que estaban aquí ya es los drivers, so a lo mejor le toca a usted.
Todos vamos todos a la
Y cuando Las Vegas puedes tomar con el paso, ¿no?
Oh, sí. Y luego nosotros, porque ya tenemos, que estaba pienso, pero ya como Marta por John, pues de Air Force. Y luego Miriam con Severa de Air Force.
Pero son special needs.
Real good deals.
No son
Very
los
nice. Very nice. Very nice, very nice.
Me dieron un niño chiquito de 4 años ayer. Oh my God, he's adorable. Oh my God. Y me habla en inglés y en español.
Ándale,
Dice, este es mi primer día de la escuela, hijos de
Very happy.
Se llama Santiago Franco. Le dije,
Así te dice eso 4 years from now.
¿cómo te llamas? ¿Qué es tu apellido? Santiago Franco.
Pero no, hombre, está bien padre. Te están saliendo así.
4 años.
Bien,
Ah, 4 años.
Nunca.
Y trae sus bolitas ayer.
No, pues está todo chulo.
Ese es mi, ese va a ser mi consentido. A ellos, los que tienen 4 hasta 6,
y se pone más barato, te mandan el alert también de que bajó, si lo quieres cambiar.
Tengo McNair,
¿Me entiendes?
es la primera
Pero-
que llevo.
Pero estaba
McNair.
mandando
Después
One
el
trip from
elementary,
Austin,
pues la
esa no está,
pues,
pues,
eso
no
es
sé qué tal, a lo mejor $40 another way. Lo ganaron, gasto más en
Mamá sí paga.
más en Chicago.
¿Y qué era el
En el casino, pues,
Pero hay diferentes líneas.
tienen muchas places que corren maquinitas.
en Corpus,
I've got to all of them.
y no sé dónde están.
Espérame, Miguelito.
Cada rato voy para Corpus, para esa visita.
They're everywhere. On the state Lucky 777.
No, pero ¿dónde está? Está en la South Rally, Corpus, Port Lawrence, Sorrences Pass.
Lucky 7 is on.
Te mandan de todo.
I'm trying to think of that street.
Marta fueron a
Because
Houston.
I'm from that side.
$7 el bosque.
I don't know if it's.
Fueron a ver un juego allá.
I'm trying to think
Les
of the
costó
name.
$7.
Bueno, están poniendo las calles. Well, there's a lot of construction.
Okay, tours.
When you first go in, que agarras el expressway para la right, yendo para esos
And
pies.
then the left side is gonna be to your right.
Ajá.
That's why she's
Sí.
Mr. Garza is the owner.
De play.
Him and his daughter, I guess. And
Ya,
there's
porque
another
te vas a hacer
one.
la first one que está ahí, te vas para la left.
Sí.
Ahí está el bochito salida.
Sí, and then there's a store called something, y atrás están las maquinitas.
Está el Texas Bowl ahí también.
It's in Spanish, la tienda.
La tienda.
Y lo que pasa es que
Tenía un gasoline enfrente, pero ya no trabaja en gasoline. En la tienda going and then the back area está la maquinita.
Pues si agarras addresses me los das, porque yo cada rato voy para Corpus.
Do you go to René's? That's in Robstown.
Robstown, no, I haven't
Country
been to
Road
Robstown.
2586.
Renes.
No, ya.
I haven't been to Robstown,
And
sí.
it's Country Road 38. Es una casa. Es una casa con una water wheel. Y atrás, toda la
Está como acá en Boutique, que te vas por ahí. Te vas por
Well, they don't
acá.
have no more, because I live in Boutique.
Well, they still have some, como the Tal Tree, donde tenían el otro, right there.
My boots were giving me
Tenía across the street donde estaban los el handicap signs. And from there across the street estaba un big tree. Right there, ¿verdad? Adentro tenía, pero now if you go through there through the site,
Everybody in here already signed
by the
in?
right,
Everybody already signed in?
by the right, down, down one big fence,
el paper.
Esa, y tenía la otra que está by the
So
cemetery.
you have the location on that paper.
¿Cómo se llama?
So now
La otra que está ahí en Kings Highway también.
They closed that one too.
¿Quieren gas o qué?
No, ya están viejitas y ya se
Ah, Robstown no no ha ido desde que estaba en el
Hombre, Robstown hay la leather y ya me estaba raspando. That's where I would hang out. Ya tiene
When I was living in my hometown.
I remember when the bikers went over there in los
Yes.
80s.
No.
They're always at events.
Yeah, they wanted to go get one of their guys out of jail. Estaban todos los bikers ahí.
Y cuando voy para Kiko, I only play the big machines. Because they don't have the machines that I like.
Claro, lo peor que andes en un lugar y que los zapatos te aprieten.
They have a lot of new ones.
A mí me gusta.
They do?
Cuando voy para Kiko, donde están los restrooms así, la que tienen los taquitos y todo. I go through the side right there, tiene los restrooms. You go about the second aisle. A la right tienes unas machines que te dicen hot, ¿verdad?
Sí, sí,
Y
sí.
tienen los time. Esas todo el tiempo le pongo $20. Y cada game. No. No, pero yo le pongo $20. Cada game is $1.50 max. And I'm buying anywhere from 150 to 600. Yo me saco esa, pues como el otro que están ahí. No me voy por la del otro lado, la otra lado, cada chorro es $5.
También tienen puras casas, puras máquinas. Every house you go, every trailer that you go, pura máquinas. I won there 5,000 something.
Airline deals, a ver qué te sale ahí.
Y te pagan todo. No te quitan el tax.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. If you can just, we'll get started in a few minutes. If you can just make sure that your camera is on and make sure you're muted. Please make sure you put your name on the chat just to ensure that you get full credit for it.
No sé, para que te otra que vamos a estar automáticas. ¿Verdad? Anoche estaba pensando ir para dentro ya para cuando salí de allá conmigo. Que pueden enseñar a la isla. Para cuando la hayan a cerrar. Quería era otra que debía estar acá en Fort Contreras-Hinojosa, pero no decirle que sí.
testing. Ya que no.
No, una que estaba en Morrison. Que hoy me aparece. God dang it. They wake me up when it's not. Ahorita comienza a roncar. Me hace
Testing. Okay, so I just have that too long.
March 11th,
All right, can everybody hear me?
early release that day, right?
Ya,
It
pienso.
says in the calendar.
What can you see?
No sé, no, yo no le hago caso a nada de eso.
Okay.
I just go for the holidays. Dime que me vaya y ya me voy.
On spring break, we have 10 days. Out.
I put share or participant.
No, kids, okay.
Crystal.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
I'm yelling like, what?
Are you, is it only you and I? With the cameras on?
No, everybody's on there.
I don't see nobody. Is there something wrong with my camera?
Check on your top, on the right hand top corner. There's a button that says view. If you click on that button, you can change the view. You should be able to change the view.
You know how to get it? You know how to get into your email?
How long is this meeting? Hold on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can definitely hear you.
Okay, I couldn't hear nobody till now.
Okay. Yeah, everybody's silent. Remember, we're keeping everybody muted so that way we can get everybody can hear properly.
Crystal,
Yes.
I'm gonna go to the training room too, because they can't hear it, and then I'm gonna come over here, okay?
That sounds good. Okay, sir.
Crystal, can you say something to see if we could hear you in the training room?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, we are good to go then.
All right, sir. I think we're ready to go. Hold on. He's going to start it. Oh, sorry.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Today is February the 24th, our February safety meeting. And as you know, Crystal and Rose will lead the safety meeting. But before we get going, I'd like to thank y'all for joining us for the safety meeting that we have going for the month of February. And the topic's going to be, it's going to be about fighting. We had a couple of fights on the bus, so we want to discuss that and run that by you before we go through that. Just remember, drivers, now we got some kids coming back and some of them are riding the bus. The buses are getting a little crowded. Kids are getting a little antsy. So we're gonna give you some tips and some procedures of when you see a fight to start to escalate, or when you see the kids escalating before it gets into a fight. So we're going to go through these procedures, but you also got to remember every situation is different. Not every situation is going to be the same. It's going to be on you, how you describe and what's going on, and being on the radio and communicating with dispatch. So we're going to go over this in detail. So I just want to make sure you're aware of, and so we want to make sure that we eliminate the minimum of fights we can on the bus, and hopefully these training sessions will help you to help prevent this happening on a school bus. As we are ready to go, Crystal, we are ready to roll, and I'll be here to help you out.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that. You go ahead while I.
Good morning, guys. So today we're going to be talking about fights on the bus, verbal and also physical ones. So, reviewing procedures for altercations on the bus, verbal and physical. Transportation handbook. You can always look in the transportation handbook on page 29. In case of disrupting on the bus, such as an argument, an altercation, rough playing, fights, or student injuries, immediately pull over and call in to dispatch. Remember, not even the little minorest little thing on the bus, you should always pull over so that you can check on the student and call it in just to let them know that you pulled over and what's going on. Okay, so what to do if the altercation is verbal? Chris is going to show a video right now.
I'm gonna search my phone. Get an angle.
You about to join and fight too? I'm gonna start beating you.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I won't beat you. I'm on. Ready? I won't beat you. Just because you're tall don't mean nothing. Just because you're tall don't mean nothing. Don't mean shit. Because I can get taller. What about it? Let's go.
Oh, shit! Oh! Yo, we sitting down, bro. We sitting down.
Bus.
Shit, get out of here. You all know it's gonna happen. You ain't beating nobody, bitch.
Shut
your mouth and listen. You don't want to make enough. Oh, yeah. Listen. You guys need to go outside and talk about it.
Yeah, go outside, kick his ass. Sorry.
I'm not talking no shit. You're the one.
Nah, bro. I know he's bold.
Looking at the bus driver. The principal will beat the fuck out of that.
Making up this shit.
Leave me the fuck alone. I'm not a fucking bitch.
Every other female I've met.
Miss, shut the fuck up because I'll beat the fuck out of you. I'm not a fucking bitch. You're calling me a bitch.
Give it a rest. Chill, bro. Chill. Don't call her a bitch, bro. Where's my mom, bro?
Chase, calm down.
Right here, I'll take you right off. Where to, bro? Don't call her a bitch, bro. It's not disrespectful. I'll beat your ass too, bro.
With the mouth. You understand me?
Where to, bro?
Do you understand?
Lies about what? Lies about what?
Okay, you're done. Turn around. Go back in front.
Where, bro?
If you guys can't calm down, relax, I'll have you taken off the bus now.
No, mister, but you said disrespectfully. What's yours? Calling her a bitch and all that, mister?
Bro, I'm gonna get some likes off of this.
That's disrespectful.
Is that the principal right there? Bro, I'm still recording. This shit going on TikTok.
You want to bring him in?
I'm gonna, he would be the one that get trouble. You ain't even in the video. I'm just asking. Because if not, I'll have both of you taken off right now. Sure. If something happens between here, bro, I can record another minute of this and post it on TikTok. If you get it, have the cops call and have it together. Any questions?
I'm gonna search my phone.
So if you notice that's what's going on. That's what's going, is that what you're seeing? Okay, what I'm showing. That's what's going on social media. So you noticed it was two different ways that they were the two different fights. Let me continue here, sorry. Okay, so go ahead.
Crystal, I'm gonna add up to that scene so that they're aware of that.
Okay, go ahead.
Drivers, as you look at the scenes, the two different scenes, you notice how kids start standing up, they start playing around, horsing around, or they start joking around, and they're standing up and then talking to each other. But it could escalate if it continues, and that's where you gotta come in there and say, hey, I need you to sit down, not in a rude way, not in a demanding way, just kind of letting them know, hey, I'm watching you. I just need y'all to sit down. I need the aisles clean like y'all always do. Everybody likes their aisles clean, okay? And the second one, as you look at the girl started just the language. If you look at the language, you look at the scenery, it's loud already. As you know, as kids start coming on the bus, it starts getting loud. And so that's something that is normal. But when you start watching the language, that's when he did the right thing, going in there, going in between them and trying to tell the girl, you know, you need to get away from him, you need to get away from him. And so those are the situations you gotta look at before they escalate. Because remember, they can be horsing around in the very beginning, but as they start picking on each other or they start saying more words to each other, they can start fuming, start getting offended of each other, what they're saying, and it could escalate real quick. So those are the things you gotta watch out. Did anybody notice the background? What was going on when an altercation happens? Does anybody want to raise their hand and saw what kids do instantly? Or put it on chat. I just want to see if somebody could answer that.
They want to go live and put it on TikTok.
Thank you, Jackie. Yes. Did you see how quick that happened? Jackie, did you see how fast it happened? So kids will start noticing that when they start talking to each other, somebody will grab that phone. So that's why when you're in there talking to them or separating them, got to happen in a professional manner, in a very professional manner. As long as you're doing your job, telling them to stop the fight, quit, intervene in a professional manner. Thank you for answering that, Jackie.
Go ahead.
Okay, so a verbal altercation, an incident which involves one of the several offenders who engaged in verbal communication in which abusive, profane, obscene, or threatening comments are made towards one or more than one. So, okay, so in case that happens, guys, verbal altercation, we'll follow these steps. A, you would find a safe area to stop the bus. B, while looking for a safe place, stop, shout, stop fighting, just so that they can hear you saying stop fighting, and also for the camera to hear that you actually engaged in them stopping the fight, right? C, call dispatch, explain where you are and the nature of the issue. D, when you have stopped, secure the bus, activate your four-way flashers. If you need to leave your seat, turn off the ignition, take the keys, and unlatch your safety belt. Never get out of your seat and leave the bus running. E, out of your seat, you can now face the kids. Looking at them in the mirror is not very intimidating at this point. Once again.
Let me go ahead. So what he is saying, right, is that you're in your seat. You're not as intimidating when you're looking them in the mirror and just telling them to stop. So that's the idea of getting up and don't launch yourself. Don't put yourself, like Mr. Tamayo said, don't put yourself in the middle of the fight. But you also want to, body language is everything. They need to understand that you're not intimidated and you're there to stop the situation. You're going to speak to each one of them individually, being very direct and explaining what it is that you sit down, stop fighting, be be directive in what you want them to do. And that's why it's always so great for you to know their names, because that'll be the first thing that'll help them to snap out of it. When you can say, Juan, you need to sit down, make them stop fighting. Of course, you're going to have the students move seats because you want to separate them. And then, of course, if you need additional support, contact dispatch. Only you are going to know, and like Mr. Tamayo said, only you are going to know what you're going to need because every single situation is different. I know for some, if it's not too far away from the school, you'll turn around so that you can get that safe spot there in case you need additional backup. You're already there at the campus. But of course, our primary goal is to try and get them home, and then we'll deal with it. If you can get the situation settled, you'll deal with it when you come back. It's extremely important that you contact us here at dispatch and tell us, write down this time, because that'll also help for when you write the bus conduct. We can help give you that time. Do you remember what that time is, so that we can put that? The more information we put on that spot on those bus conduct forms for the school, the better. It's easier for them to take care of that.
So can I add something to that?
Yes, please go ahead, Sonia.
Guys, good morning. I just want to let y'all know, whenever we're dispatching, we would like for y'all to let us know what kind of help y'all need. If y'all need an administrator, if y'all need the police, if you need EMS, because remember, you're just calling and you're letting us know, I need help. Okay, we need you to tell us what kind of help you're gonna need. And the reason is because if we send out everybody out there and it's really a small fight, I think with just an administrator would be fine, okay? But let's say there's blood. You need to let us know, we need an EMS or the police. Okay, anything that has to do with blood, we need to get the police involved. Okay, so please guys, whenever y'all call in a fight, don't just need, I need help. I need you to tell me what kind of help you need. Okay. Okay, Crystal, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Sonia. So that's a verbal confrontation, right? The bad words, that's how it starts. And then the physical confrontation, of course, is where it's the actual physical aggression that may or may not result in injury. And of course, that's as it increases, right? Physical altercation is anything, bullying, fighting, any of that stuff.
There you go, that's my fault. All right. So what do you do in the altercation is a physical fight. And the physical altercation occurs on the bus, outside of the bus, inside or outside the bus. Stop the bus to the nearest safest location and activate your hazard. It's the same way again. You're always going to call into dispatch, inform them of the incident. The dispatcher will then call 911 after receiving details from you. Secure your bus, stand up, give the verbal commands for the students to stop fighting immediately. Stay with the students, take written attendance and wait for the department staff and police department and school administrators to arrive at the scene. Provide the department staff and police officers with a complete description of the incident. A determination will be made if to continue with the route.
Okay, so we're talking about physical altercations, not only inside the bus, but also if you witness one outside of the bus. Let's say at your bus stop. That goes back to see something, say something. And that's, a lot of you are really great about when you see a fight, even if it may not have to do with your students, something that you see, something that you witness, you immediately call us here at dispatch so that we can get the information out to whoever it needs to be. Again, that idea of just securing the bus, bringing it to the side so that you can contact us properly, it's important. Did anybody need to add anything, Mr. Tamayo, Sonia?
Yes, I'm gonna add something before we, I noticed there's fights and you probably went over it. I was doing something real quick. I know there's fights inside the bus and I noticed there's fights outside the bus beside your bus, okay? At all times, even though if there were, you didn't see anything happening in the bus or you just were not aware of it, but all of a sudden the fight is happening outside the bus, guys, you need to call that in, because that's when we call our PD, and so we can report that yes, there was a fight. Because a lot of times the PD will call our office and say, hey, did bus so and so report a fight? And we check our log and we say no, nothing has reported, and we asked why. They would say, they're saying, well, we got calls from parents saying that there was a fight, you know, on the bus or off the bus. I said, no, usually if it's a fight on the bus, they call it. Usually if there's a fight beside the bus and they see it, yes, they will call it in. So I'm asking you, even though it didn't happen, but you know there's a fight, and as you know, you got to stay with your bus, you got to stay with your kids. All you got to do is pick up that radio and say, hey guys, there's a fight outside the bus, because those kids are going to go to the parents, and parents are going to say, no, there was a fight on the bus, and there's a fight on the bus, and y'all let it happen. So that's why we got to make it clear. Was that fight inside the bus, or that fight was just when they got off the bus? And then if it's off the bus, that's good that you report it, so we can get on the phone with PD and let them know that the fight was beside the bus, and they can take care of from there when they get their phone calls.
Also, guys, besides those two altercations, oh, go ahead, Sonia.
There was another thing I needed to add to that. Whenever you call it in and you're telling us that you're needing assistance, and we're already telling you we're going to go ahead and send somebody out there, please, guys, do not move the bus, because we're already given the ambulance or the police department or the directors your location, and then you're moving around. So by the time they get over there, they're not going to be able to find you. But even though it's stopped, if we tell you go ahead and wait, just go ahead and wait until somebody gets there. Okay, sometimes that helps, because let's say they stop fighting, but then you continue rolling, then they're going to continue fighting again once they get to another stop. So please just go ahead and make sure that once we tell you, okay, we're sending somebody out there for assistance, just go ahead and wait there, okay? Don't move your bus. The same thing as accidents. Whenever y'all haven't, we tell you the same thing. So please, guys, just go ahead and wait at your location where this is happening. So this way they could find you fast, and we're not looking for you.
And I'm gonna add out this, Sonia. Yes, that's very important when you report a fight, because we're giving you we're giving the police location. And as you know, when police gets on there, they're the ones that will remove the students off the bus. So that's why we got to have you at one place, okay? And so we got to make sure that happens, because several times, a lot of you say, hey, I got it under control, everything's okay. Meaning, okay, was there no fight? Was there a fight? But if they're flat out beating the crap out of each other in the bus, best thing to do is just sit there, stay calm, wait for one of us, as we usually wait for the police, and they're the ones that will take them off the bus and take them back to the campus.
Okay, guys, again, now different altercations, we learned about those two. Now, another one that we've been having a lot of is the ones with parents confronting the school bus driver about things going on the bus. So what we would like you to do is always stay calm. You never want to let the parent board the bus. Make sure you close that door, pull over to a safe spot, put on your four-way hazards, and direct them to your window. Always direct them to your window, because you're always going to have them at a distance instead of you having them come up, of a chance for them coming up the bus. So just listen to them. Don't argue with them. You arguing with them, you're stooping down to their level. So now there's going to be your argument with their argument, and y'all ain't going to go nowhere. So just listen to them, direct them, give them a little card, direct them for them to call somebody here at transportation, one of the directors, one of the supervisors.
No, and that's the best thing for you to do. Just like, it's always about keeping yourself safe. So anything else, Tamara, you want to say before we kind of review? And
yes, Sonia, go ahead, Sonia.
Yes, another thing, guys, I've noticed sometimes I see these videos and parent approaches you and they're asking questions about other students. They're asking questions about the name of the student that got into a fight with their kid, or the one that's bullying his kid. And we have drivers giving them that information. We cannot be doing that, guys, because what's going to happen if that parent knows that family, the first thing that's going to happen, they're going to have an altercation. Okay, we don't want them to get on the bus and then you giving them that information. If they find out because their child is giving them that information, okay, that's up to them. But our drivers cannot be giving that information. That's personal information. We cannot be giving out names from other students or any other information about, oh yes, it was so-and-so, the one that hit him. No, we cannot give them that. ma'am, you just give them the card and let them call us and we'll go ahead and take care of that. But you cannot be giving other students information to parents. Thank you, guys.
All right, so we're gonna review real fast and we want participation from you all. So if it's true, we want you to do hands open. And if it's false, we wanted you to do hands in a fist, okay? True, false, all right? So number 1, approach all fights that take place on the bus exactly the same. Is it
False.
true or false? I don't see no hands.
True.
False. Very good. Number 2, behavior issues happen nearly every day on the bus. That's true. Correct. When giving directives to students, they should be clear, concrete, and specific. True. The best way to get through to a student is to raise your voice louder than theirs. It's false.
False.
That's right, false. You can earn students' respect by establishing a rapport with them. Absolutely true. Letting your emotions get the best of you can have unfortunate consequences. That's true. You can possibly prevent conflicts by reading students' body language and tone. Super true, yes. You can try to call students by name as a distraction technique. That's true. The school team is not important since they are not on the bus when behavior issues take place. That's false. And conflict emergencies need to be immediately reported and addressed to the proper supervisors. True. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for participating in the true and false. Also, just a reminder, when I emailed you the link for today, the Zoom, on the bottom was a link of testing your knowledge. On our next meeting, we will review to see how y'all did on that test. There's 3 questions from the general knowledge of DPS. If you didn't get a chance to do it, check on the bottom of that email that I sent you for today's meeting and click on that link so that you can participate in that. Anything else, sir, that we need to cover?
I just want to hear any questions from the drivers. If they have any questions.
Oh, yes. I know there's probably some questions. We don't want specific questions about specific situations, but if you have a general question that you'd like to share with us on the chat, go ahead.
Sir, ma'am.
Go ahead. Title. Take title. Kendall, we can hear you.
Hey, I know we just spoke about true and false, whether you should raise your voice, and it was mentioned that you shouldn't raise your voice higher than the students are shouting. However, in those scenarios that we just saw, it was chaos on those buses. Everyone was talking, screaming, ranting, and raving. So in order for you to get their attention, I think it's kind of necessary that you raise your voice where they can actually hear you, or you're just standing there just like you're adding to it by just mumbling. That's what it'll sound like in actual fight, someone mumbling, if they even hear you. So you've got to raise your voice where they can hear you. So I don't agree with the false on that one. You have to use tact, but you have to get their attention. The only way to get their attention sometimes is you got to raise.
So you're correct, Kendall. It's the initial attention that you need to get. Of course, you need to raise your voice. What the question was asking though, is that when you're actually addressing the student, like to be able, after you've gotten their attention is really what the question was about. Right. Raising your voice louder than them, actually going.
Mr. Tamayo said earlier about
immediately you do need to.
You can demand, but you got to get that initial attention, and then you got to demand that they de-escalate as soon as possible. You don't let it get, you got to be directive. You got to be directive. You got to be precise. You got to demand that they follow your instructions. If not, you're just there flapping your gums. I mean, if that's what we got to do, then yeah, I'll do it if that's what you're telling me. But
And I agree, Kendall. And also you have your mic. I don't know, your mic could be louder than you or you're louder than your mic on your bus.
whenever, if there's a fight, sir, if I'm talking through my mic, most of the fights that happen, they happen somewhere between the middle to the rear of the bus. And if I'm on that mic, it means that I'm not in a position to try to take control of it. So you got to get close where they can see that you're there, because you got to secure the area around. You got to make sure all the other kids are out of the way, because if it's a physical where they're throwing blows, I guess you got to make sure the other kids around are safe. And then you got to, you can't get involved, because if you touch one and you touching one, make the other one hit, then that's on you. So you just got to shout. You just got to shout, get them to stop, cut out the nonsense, and that's all that you can do. Our hands are tied behind our backs with these kids a lot, for what we can and cannot do. So that's all I got to say on it, really.
Thank you. I saw on a question on the chat from Olga, like for the dispatch to answer. Olga, yes, we do the best we can. Remember, now we have 2-3 people in the office, so we're available now. Situations, remember, when sometimes we be thin online and everybody's on the road, so we do the best we can to answer the phone. I know when Jennifer was in there, Jennifer was always side by side if there was one dispatcher. So yes, that'll be corrected, because we should have a secretary in there starting next week.
Mr. Tamayo, can I add something to that?
Sure.
On that question that she has, that's why we want you to tell us what kind of help you need. Okay, because you're the one that's at the incident or we're at the fight. And by you telling us, okay, we don't want you to give us all the information through the radio. Just let us know, do you need the police? Do you just need an administrator? Do you need EMS? You are the one that's going to be telling us what kind of help you need. Okay, so it's not us determining what kind of help you're going to need. You're going to have to let us know. Did that answer your question, Olga?
And also location. You're gonna have to realize if you're but between the high school or around this area, we can be there within 5 minutes. But if you're at Highway 16 or you're way across McNair, past McNair, it's gonna take some time for us to get out there. So that's another thing, drivers, that we're fighting for is to the traffic, and especially when you're behind buses, it's gonna take a while. But if you're inside the 410 area or between here, both high schools, we can respond within 5 minutes. But if you're beyond the Palo Alto, the Watson Road, the Wisdom area, that's gonna take a while. So you're gonna have to be really, really patient for us to get there, because I'm gonna tell you that's gonna at least take 20 minutes. If you're the Wisdom Road, and then if you're over here the Watson, it should be about 15 minutes, because that Somerset Road is traffic when those buses are moving. Any other questions?
Guys, we just have to make sure that whenever you tell us, okay, this is what's going on, there's going to be times that some people think that, oh, just because they're arguing, that's a fight. Okay, that's why it's really important. Whenever it's a physical fight, that's when we're going to have to you have to let us know, okay, but before it gets to a fight, we need to make sure that we do our job, and making sure that when it's a verbal confrontation, you want to nip it at that time. You don't want it to escalate to a fight. So by you hearing a verbal confrontation, you need to stop it right there and then. Move them apart, get them away from each other. If the one that's getting off next, move them to the front. This way, whenever the other one is coming down is not gonna start a fight on the bus. So this is things that you need to think about before they get into a fight, okay? But yes, I was looking at Olga's answer that y'all decide. But remember, there's the times that it's only a verbal confrontation and they're calling it a fight. So we need to be more specific on whenever you call it in, okay?
Tamayo, I have a question. It has nothing to do with what we were discussing right now.
Go ahead.
Leaving transportation, going to say Southwest High School, right there at the light at Pearsall and 410 Access Road. I don't know if y'all have noticed the arrows, they've been changed. It's been changed for a while. It hasn't been addressed that I've known. But so if you follow the arrows now, our buses, going to the high school are supposed to be on the left lane to turn. Unfortunately, we still have the cars that, or they see or don't care. They still are on the right lane, and they're still also going to turn with us. So we're having to fight and just not fight, but we just have to be extra careful. So what do you want us to do? Continue? Do you want us to follow the arrows? I mean, I'm assuming that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Okay, before there was 3 lanes where you can turn right, then you can go straight ahead, and you can turn left. From what I see from everybody, and especially the truckers, they stay on that middle lane to turn because it gives them that wide turn. So I could see that with the buses. And as you go under the bridge, you can see how, like you said, the vehicles cut in and everything. But all it is cautious, as you're turning, and you should know cars would be going to go ahead of you, but you in your mind already know, hey, let the car go ahead, so because it's going to be impatient.
Right, but so do you want us to follow the arrows? I guess that was my question. The way we're supposed to is being on the left lane.
I'm thinking that I'm trying to say there's still enough space for that bus to turn, right?
Yeah, we can turn it, no problem. It's just, I just want to get a clarification that now that the arrows are different, do we just go ahead and stay, now do we follow the arrows? So it would be, if we're turning to the left, we stay on the left lane as the arrows are showing right now. I'm sorry, we can't hear you, Mr. Tamayo, you're muted. Mr. T, we can't hear you, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I say yes but I still notice the truck driver, all the big trucks go to the right lane because they need that space to turn. But our buses can go in with that first arrow to cut into the first lane, correct?
We just, yes, just use cautious. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, guys, just whenever you're making that turn, just watch your tail swing. That's the main thing, those tail swings.
Sir, ma'am, so what do y'all want us to do? Because the tail swing, that is the biggest issue. Because if I'm in the left and I have cars that are in the right and I take a left turn, they are going around my tail. And I have done it once and I noticed the cars having to go around my tail swing. So it is dangerous. And after that day, I just went back to the regular middle lane, or what used to be the middle lane. So what do y'all want us to do? Because it is dangerous if the cars are on our right side, or any vehicle is on our right side, what's to be on that inner lane.
Yes, sir. Whenever I'm driving, I'm actually staying on my right lane to make that right turn, the left turn. For me, I feel more safe. So whatever you feel more safe, but the right thing is actually, for me, whatever I feel more safe doing.
Thank you.
Any more questions before I close it out? Okay, guys, before we close it out, I just want to say, I noticed if you notice, our building is getting renovated. The first phase of the front is already done. Now they're starting on the back phase. The thing I'm waiting for is our new tables and chairs. As soon as those come in, we will start holding our department meetings and our safety meetings as a group now inside our building. I noticed as we having our Zoom meeting, I'm doing an attendance count. And some of the drivers are not taking it seriously about these meetings that we're hosting. So just to get the word out that we are going to go back to holding our meetings in groups inside the building, since now the building is about almost 70% ready, and then we could host our area, which the training room is available for us now. So be ready when we make that decision. Our new tables and chairs should be coming in within the week or two. And then so when we start holding our department meetings and our safety meetings, I am expecting everybody to show up, because our attendance, we go out there and we give it out to you in advance, and a lot of people are not taking these meetings serious. So we have to really, really bring everybody as a group to know that, hey, these meetings are important for everybody. That is all I have to say. Guys, thank you for joining our safety meeting. Please be safe and stay warm. The weather will be cold today and tomorrow. And so as far as I know, everything should be okay as it was today. No freezing temperatures that I'm aware of, but if anything changes, you would know in advance. So thank you very much, and have a good day, and we shall see you this evening.
Sir, thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye-bye.